picked up some stuff at Home Depot. So, picked these up from Amazon yesterday. These are the somewhat equivalent of the Knipex, and we're going to be comparing these directly to the Knipex here in a second. We picked up just a couple of things that you got to have around the house. You know, I don't know if you guys know the whole story, but I got really sick, had mold contamination, and basically had to throw away everything that I've ever owned and restart my whole life. So this is why a lot of the tools look new. It's because a lot of them aren't. Yo, what's up, Apache? What's up, Sarush? So these are just essential tools you got to have as a man in your shop, owning a home, being ahead of your household. There's certain things you got to have in your shop. What's going on? So for me, string is going to be one of them, and not just any string, but this Mason line is high visibility, and you can do a lot of things with this Mason line, like get a heavier rope up in places that you normally can't just throw a rope into. What's up, Soundwave? So you got to have rope, especially storm season. It's kind of hurricane season now. We're getting a lot of crazy weather. Rope and string is something that you definitely want to have on hand this time of year. So we picked up some rope. This was when I titled that video, going to Home Depot for some lags and then spending $200. I wasn't joking. I actually spent $200 yesterday. So what's a hurricane? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everything's good, man. I'm in the, North Texas. I mean, we're not going to get anything too crazy. Maybe a tornado here or there, but if your house is above sea level, you should be fine in Texas, at least the north side of it. So we picked up this gear wrench. We kind of talked a little bit about this yesterday in the afternoon. And I feel like I need to show you guys a little bit more about the Milwaukee subcompact. We've also got some shop things to attend to. So I think I want to build plywood across here, tag some Romex to it, and then have the Romex able to be seen. Let me zoom out a little bit. Nope, that's zooming in. Okay, that's as good as we're gonna get. Was that a giant wire nut? Yeah, it's an overpriced giant wire nut. I was just on Amazon and it was like, you need this wire nut. And I was like, damn, Amazon, you were right. I do need a wire nut. This goes proportionally with my giant workbench that I built out of hot glue the other day. I was at, what is that place called? Micro Center, of all places. And they got a little vise here for soldering, technically. I think that's what it's for. And yeah, I was like, damn, I gotta build a bench now. Oh, sweet idea with the plywood my grandma keeps. Okay. Nice. That not for one wire or zero. It's for two 500 kc mills. You can splice two 500 kc mills or three 350s. I think it's what it's rated for in there. So 750, just one. That's if you got like 47 Romexes to tie together on one circuit. Yeah, we picked up this gear wrench towards the end of the live last night. It was like 12 o'clock and I had to go to bed, unfortunately. But this is the 55-piece, $70 gear wrench set. And there it is in all of its glory, man. It's actually kind of pretty. The lighting sucks right now. Hang on. I'm going to do a white balance, or I'm just going to turn on this light. That's better. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I like different things, and this is pretty cool. Oh, this is just like you know, the grounding wire nuts. So you can run one strand out, and then you can tie your 500 to your receptacle. Yeah, it's just the wrong color, exactly. So let me get this tripod down here. Oh, we got tripodception right now. We got dueling tripods right now. This one's jealous because it's not being used. All right, where is? Okay. We also picked this one up, interestingly, on Saturday. That is actually really strong. Okay, so this is like the Gator style of the Knipex. I've had the Gator style before. The only thing that happens with these is that every once in a while you get this in like a limbo spot where it just doesn't want to sit completely flat, like right there. And you can force it in there. But if you're really, you know, trying to move while you're turning tools and, you know, running conduit, something like that, it's kind of a small hiccup. But they kind of, see, I'm trying to fight it to try to find the spot. Also, I am looking through the camera to do this, so I'm not going to be the most accurate. But these are fine. They're like $15, I think. So if you're a beginner, the price is right, but you can see where everywhere that I'm sliding, they're kind of fighting me. There we go. Let's get these ones open. I want to see what the grips feel like on these. My buddy Jermaine has a pair of these, and that's when I realized they were actually decent. And then on that video, somebody said these were made by NWS. So that explains why these are decent. Okay, so let's compare the jaw. Let's close the knife. Where did I put the knife? Okay, we're gonna look at the jaw profile. Ooh. Ooh, it is actually very similar. Let's go side by side. So we got more meat down here, for sure, I think. So let's see. Let's see the standoff here. Is it any further? And we've actually got the bad pair of Knipex here. We want the good ones. So hang on a second. That's not gonna work. That's the tiny ones. Hang on. Where's the big ones? That's the other pair. Man, I got stuff all over this workbench. I'm trying to think when's the last time that I used it. I think I was beating the hell out of something live. I was beating the hell out of something live. Hang on. That should have been here. Hang on. Oh, there they are. Okay. I'll show you what's different about these. All right, now I've got more pliers than anybody will ever need on the table here. Okay, first off, these are the quick slide edition. So once you lock these down and they're all the way up, you can slide them up. But then once you close them like this, watch, this is going to drop. And now it's locked, so they don't slide always. So if they're slid all the way down, they are open. They stay open, right? This action is what I'm calling open. I can slide it up, but once I give them a little jiggle, they're going to lock. And this sticks out really far. How far does it stick out? Not quite a 1/4 inch bit. I was trying to give you guys a reference that you guys would see. Not quite a 1/4 inch bit. What about... I'm trying to find something for reference here. Yeah, let's use this. This will have a, this is a 5 mil S25. It's an Allen, let me see. It's about the thickness of this Allen, but that's not even standard for America, so I don't even know what this thing is. It is a S25, whatever that is. I was hoping for a, you know, something to reference off of. Sticks out pretty far. If we look at the original Knipex, you're going to see where it just does not stick out as far. Not even a little bit. So now we got to look at what the Klein is doing. Oh, it's backwards actually. It's interesting. But damn, the Klein doesn't stick out far at all. Why is this thing having trouble focusing? I'm giving it all the light that it can possibly ask for. Let me try and clean the lens. I might be giving it too much light overhead. Let me see here. There we go. Let's try that. That's got to be better. It's time to switch the camera. Hang on. That's better. That's better than Knipex in every way, as far as that is concerned. So that's an improvement right there for sure. Now, once these are open, yeah, it sticks out just as much. Does this change if I... No, I actually like this. Do you own any 12-inch Knipex? Yeah. Yeah, you gotta have the 12-inch Knipex. If you're gonna do anything more than 1.25 inches, you gotta have at least one pair of these. They're expensive, but if you're running a lot of large pipe, you gotta have at least one pair of these. This is gonna grab the larger outer diameter of the coupling, and then you can grab the inner diameter of the coupling with these pretty easily. I do not have the 16-inch. Understood what's up. I have a big 22-inch. I believe I haven't used a pipe wrench since. I would not blame you, man. I'm jealous of that. I had the big AZZ So the actual channel lock brand called Big AZZ is how they marketed them. And that's what I use, 480s. So after spending $130 on 2 pairs, I never really needed anything differently, but I bet the Knipex would have been awesome to have doing 4-inch, 3-inch, whatever. So the Klein is definitely a thinner profile. Let's see. So I kind of like that too, how that kind of sits in that groove and it's completely flat and flush there. That's pretty nice too. And I've got another pair of Klein actually that we can compare. See, this is pushed in all the way and that's equally nice. So we might give it to Knipex. You gotta understand, man, I have beat on these like a hammer for years and years and years and years and years. These are new. I have not beat on these particular pair, but I have absolutely abused Knipex in any way, shape, or form possible on a job site, doing horrendous things to them, and they stand up. So if someone says, which one do I recommend? It's still the Knipex, but we're just looking at the Klein right now. This sticks out beyond here just slightly, and this could be relevant to, you know, the longevity of these, but man, it's actually really flush. The other thing with the red quick set of the Knipex is that this thing sticks up higher. See how it kind of stands out a little bit more? So if you're wondering which one to get, don't get the red one because the knob sticks out too far. Those Klein Cobra ripoffs are so bad, I immediately returned mine after 1 day. Hopefully you have better luck than I did. These ones, they don't have the same feel, I'll tell you that right now. They feel heavier in some places, but lighter in others. They don't balance as good, I can tell you that. These are kind of perfect in every way. I've used them for so long, this is what my hand is used to, but they've taken metal out wherever they can and made it beefier where it matters. And I promise you, I've done god-awful things to these before, and they have survived. And if I have not broken them, I don't think that they're breakable. These are definitely thicker here, and they feel heavier on the front side. The grips are almost like your standard Klein here. So they don't have like a sexy texture to them like the Knipex do. Your hand's full of oil, full of sweat, whatever. These are going to hang on. And then also these do something really clever where the grip goes up inside of here and then drops back down, so these can't fall off very easily. And the other thing about these, you just put cold shrink on your Knipex when your grips do fail after 4 or 5 years of really terrible abuse to them. You can break them off eventually. I've gone through grips on my 12-inch before, and I've gone through grips on my 10-inch before. And all you got to do is just put some cold shrink on them. Not heat shrink, cold shrink. It's thicker. So as far as the feel, I've got a scale here. We're in pounds. So That is 12 ounces, 12.4 ounces. 11.9. I knew they were heavier. So, yeah, these feel slightly heavier and less, they're just less balanced. And for the price, like that's centered there and it is balanced, but that's not where you hold your tools. You hold your tools back here, so they're going to want to lean forward. Whereas if I go back here, closer to the handle, they might not balance either, actually. But they're going to balance. If I go here, the handle leans down. But if I go here, the head kind of leans forward, so it's kind of a cross in between the two. That's the handle, and then if I go over here, it leans too far forward on the head. But they're definitely more balanced throughout, where I'm pretty completely off the handle here. If you look at the length compared to the face here, you can see where the weight is. If we go here, we're off of the handle, but we're also kind of towards the front. I hope that makes sense. Where's the yellow ones? These are cool because there's nothing sticking out, right? So you can do really nasty things to these and then be just fine. So I want to look at the jaw. I feel like these have a deeper bite. Let's find out. Trying to line them up through the camera. Not the easiest thing to do. The yellow Chinese made hot garbage. Yeah, try as they might, man, you just can't beat the original. So these open up all the way like this. These open up that much. So fully closed, they're more open. And the thing is, you don't really get leverage until you're right about there. So these actually close, and you get leverage to keep the tool shut. See the handle difference there? See how much more open these are? So, they slid down. Hang on. If we look at the angle, yeah, these open up really wide. So when these are open, these should be more parallel. Yeah, the handle's gonna be more parallel. Let's see. Yep. So they open just as much. What shape does the handle do? Longer leverage. All this stuff matters. If you're gonna sacrifice size and try to get the same leverage, all this stuff matters. So right now we got the same jaw profile, same openness. We have just a little bit more leverage there. It's very similar though, I give them that. The thing is, man, these don't have anything fancy to them. And they couldn't beat something with a lot more going on here. I'm sure that the Knipex, also your teeth, you got more graduations here. Where are these made? Someone mentioned the yellow's made in China. Hang on. Nope. They feel good though. They're like a poor man's Knipex, I guess. They're okay. They're very grainy. You can hear them. What's the toner part number you use? So I am probably going to be switching my toner to this one now exclusively. This thing does too much now. And then because you can unplug and plug in the leads into this, I'm going to be switching to this one. So this part number here is the VDV 500 163. That's the generator. And then this one is the VDV 500 223. And I like this sensitivity better. But for $63, you can't deny the value you get here on your 063 and your 123. So any one of these is very good. You can do just about the same with both of these. What's my favorite pouch? Right now, my favorite pouch, my favorite pouch is probably going to be this one. And I got to make a video on it. It's not going to hold up like a Gatorback. But I see more electricians with this in the field now than anything. Almost everybody is rocking this pouch. This is a American where is it, man? They usually have a flag on here. There it is there. Boulder bag. And what's good about the boulder bag, it's made for construction. So I'm a construction electrician. I did 2 years of infrared and about 4 years of industrial crammed in there, with the rest commercial, and about 1.5 years on a service truck, residential, and everything in between on the service truck. Mostly residential service, troubleshooting, things like that. Also always the last person on the job site to fix everyone else's mess ups in commercial. So that's when you get really good at troubleshooting. This bag here has more going for it than any other bag right now. You don't get why you want to carry so much. On a construction site, you have to carry this much. So what you're going to do, this goes in your car. At the end of the day, this either goes in the gang box or it goes on your shoulder. Back before we had handles, now this has handles built in. So now we can carry this. Damn, this freaking thing is so close. You can carry this now, but back in the day we didn't have handles until Boulder Bag came out. So Klein didn't have handles until like 2010. So this is what you got. All your tools go in here, and when you put tools in here and you throw them in a job box, they're not open like a Vito. This stuff kind of contours and squishes, and it keeps your tools from falling out naturally, just because the bag closes. So if this is a Vito, these would already be on the floor. They're gonna fall out because I'm turning it upside down. And I'm not holding the channel locks. My hand is over here. The channel locks are there. So eventually these channel locks will fall out. But most bags that would have already fallen out with the more open kind of style that doesn't crush. You can see how thick this whole Vito is. This bag here squishes down to a really compact size. So if you're doing commercial, you may or may not have diagonals on you. You're definitely gonna have Kleins. May or may not have diagonals. You almost don't use diagonals unless you're running MC and you're gonna cut the MC, but you really should be using a roto split. But that's another story. So we're gonna have Kleins over here, always. And on this slot, it's actually huge. So you can have all your tools at the end of the day in this bag, loaded up. but you don't have to carry all these tools everywhere you go while you're working. So you've got room for all your tools to be stored in here where you can transport from point A to point B. But when you're working, you don't have all these tools on you. You only have what the task you're doing. And then your extra tools go in a different bag. And that's just the way it is on the construction site. You got to keep all your tools with you. So you're going to have your pack out with you, or your Klein mod box, whatever you got. That's going to roll with you wherever you go. I used to have the Fat Max 3-tier, looks like a stair step when you roll it out, or it'd have the flatter Huskies, kind of like what Packout's doing. That's what you would rock. All your extra tools go in there. So, like these bags and stuff, they don't really exist on a job site unless you're doing like tenant finish out and you've got a material cart with you. Oh, you didn't miss much, man. We're just BSing looking at the difference of these Kleins versus the Knipex here. And we determined that they do get the job done, but they're not the same. Like if you look at the handle profile here, let me close them. Or we'll just, let's open them to about there. Let's open them the same amount. So closed, right there. They're thicker. They're thicker here. They're thicker there. They got more metal pretty much everywhere. They don't stick out as far. That's about all you miss. We're looking at these Kleins. No one's ever going to beat the Knipex, man. But they're close. I used to run a Klein Comfort belt TB4 material pouch, but it's more convenient having a TP XXL, I feel. Yeah, the TP XL is very convenient. There it is there. But yeah, this is the ultimate electrician boulder bag. And this is my favorite pouch. You've got so much storage in the front of this thing. Like these are full-size 9-inch Kleins. And the retention on this in a job box is like second to none, even though... Look, I'm holding up here, guys. Like the Kleins are held right there. So you get good retention without too much retention. But this has to be the best pouch. This is the one that I see everybody with. This is the one everybody has. And it's kind of perfect in every way. The only thing you can do to make this better is if we had an extra slot here. Right there. So what happens is we end up with two Knipex in the same slot. It's a little bit tight, but then you don't really have a spot for a level, because I always use this side as my pipe running side. But yeah, you got a lot of room for all your material and stuff. That's why when I saw this Weehaw pouch, that's why I fell in love with this, because this is very similar to kind of a construction pouch, but it still has the squish, and then it's also fairly thin, and it's got a quick clip. But Matt HMM sent me a link for something. Can't remember what it's called. I've already bought it now. It has a handle up here, and it clips around inside of this pouch, and it makes a quick kind of clip thing. So looking forward to trying that out. But yeah, I've already got the rivet hole here. I bought rivets at Home Depot. So we went to Home Depot. We got, I don't even open this. I don't even know if I'm going to use this thing. There's no storage in here. Someone said don't forget to talk about the storage in here. I didn't get the one with the storage in there. I just wanted the nut setter that came with it. But we bought, I messed up and thought that these were sockets, like socket extensions, but they're not. They're for impacts. So we might return this. I don't know. It seems like it's useful to have for whatever situation, but not what I wanted. My chat stopped for a second. A purse? Of course. Of course. What's up, Woodrow? Look at my keys from Juan and buy Susan into the Cobalt line. Started with their A+ quality wrenches. Tom Hanks sinking in the floor mops into mind every time. All right. So we got some rivets. We got some washers. In my head, I was thinking I needed a 1/4 inch rivet, but that'd be freaking huge, man. 3/16. Look how big those things are. Some big rivets right there. We also picked up a little Husky tape measure. I've had a couple of these now. They're nothing special, except for just really, really lightweight that fits in just about any bag. I gotta reach in there to grab it. I can't get it. Oh man, I've got a pet peeve with messing up my clips on day one. This is a square. This is a square, guys. That's not gonna work. Yeah, so this thing's like tiny, but it's $6. I'm scared to break it. If this thing starts moving, dude, it's going in the bushes. So it's not double-sided. The Fat Macs are not double-sided either. So this is the DeWalt. Everyone says, what DeWalt do I buy? You have to buy this one, the Tough Series. Don't get the other DeWalts. The Tough Series has double-sided, doesn't have stupid cheater marks on it. It's a good tape measure. This thing stays pretty still. And I like that you can take on and off the magnet pretty easily. Because if you do industrial or you're threading pipe and stuff, you will be glad that you don't have a magnet attached to your tape. And then when you go to a different job site and you're running some pipe that's not aluminum rigid and you actually need to hook onto something, you'll be glad you have a magnet again. But yeah, you drop this thing on the scissor lift, dude, everything is going to stick to this. So I like being able to take this off. The Hercules tape measures, never tried one. I like the crescents too. I got a crescent behind, oh no, crescent's right here. I like 16s. You only got to strap 10 feet per code. I was doing an inspection today at a French bakery. And dude, this guy was abusing the 10-foot rule. The company that I worked for, we had to strap our EMT within 8 feet, right? So I'm doing an inspection for this guy, and this guy was like 10 foot 2 inches, like every freaking bit of 10 feet. And with a 90, and oh man, it was terrible. It was really bugging me. I still let him slide though. Yeah, it's hard to beat a night eye. Hard to beat a night eye, that is for sure. I do like that the 16-footer has the push button here to open this up. So whatever setup you're rocking, sometimes you'll wind up with something like this that has a thicker catch for your tape measure. And then sometimes you're working with something like this that has a thinner one and it just snaps right on there. But either way, you can always reach down there, push that button, and get that tape off that much easier. It's a nice little, you know, forethought. I ran 25s for a long time because that's what was on the tool list for apprentices, 25-foot tape. And then after about 3 years of buying countless 25-foot tapes, because you just break tape measures for a living, it seems like, I bought some 16s and I never looked back. You only need to strap within 8 feet or 10 feet, so why you need a 25? And then if you're doing layout, you just, you know, get one of those, you know, roll-up tape measures. You're talking about it, but I don't think that's a rule. Yeah, the 10 and a half. The goth tape measure, yeah. You want a good ratchet, not a flex head, simple half-inch drive, but great quality. Nice, nice. All right. So, yeah, then we picked up the actual good sockets here. Dude, my phone is having the hardest time focusing today. Let me try and turn the brightness all the way up. What's up, Kansas? I'm going to turn off this light. Angle this down more. That might be better. I'm going to switch the camera one more time. Let's see if we can read it. You can almost read it. Getting in the mood, yeah. What else did we get, man? We spent $200 at Home Depot and got nothing to show for. That's crazy. The other pouch that I'm rocking right now is this one here. I gotta fix my chair, hang on. This one still might be my favorite. So, the Mazzo with the Vito inside of here. So this one comes with the, what is this thing called? I don't remember what that bag's called, man. I'm not a huge Vito fanboy, but I like good quality. So you're forced to buy Vito if you want a bag that has a spot for everything and does it well, but is extremely bulky. I'm pretty sure he stole them. Yeah. So this is the Mazzo. I got this thing for like $50 on sale. The light is just fighting with me in here. I'm gonna try to get rid of this light. Let's see here. Got that same guy. So this is the current setup right now, and it is a nice setup. Trying to get the magnetic strap to slide in that slot. There we go. Yeah, so we got dead space here. And with dead space, you can fit your channel locks without really committing to a pocket. You can also get your channel locks in these front slots here. They go in. Levels go in. This is probably my favorite setup right now. And then your tape measure can go here if you need it to. And it uses the Velcro. It's good Velcro. Meth again. Brought a pair of Craftsman leather gloves, $12. Soft leather, nice, nice. I got some Fessa pouches, some really soft leather from India. SPMC, thank you, sir. Exactly. How many bad tools can you see on the table? I don't have that many bad tools on the table. We got oh, well, I guess you're talking about this. Huh, maybe. All right, so the tape. Let's see the standout. See if we can get at least 6 feet on it. Okay, that's 5 feet there pretty easily, actually. Give it a little bounce to make sure. Yep. It's not bad. There's 6 feet. Oh, 6 feet. 6 feet, it's all it's going to give us. But it's got the cheater mark, so it's good for the wife. If you got somebody helping you that doesn't know how to read a tape measure, damn, dude. You know, you don't want to give them a crutch and let them use the cheater marks, but if you want to get anything done, let them learn slowly with the cheater marks, because you're just going to be pulling your hair out all day. You're like, well, how many is 5/8? Well, how many ticks, you know? Well, which ones? The big ones or the small ones? The small. It's the one after the half. It's the largest tick after the half. The 5/8, dumbass. You know. Yeah. The new soft cows. You need to have some ass to get the tool belt. I have nothing to wear. A suspended rig or my pants are coming down. That's pretty funny. You gotta eat more pizza. Most guys can't tie their shoes without crying about. Yeah, exactly. They only identify as a chair, so other guys will sit on their face, John, Apache. That's the Makita guys. Makita guys identify as a chair, so the boys will sit on their face. Like, keep your hands soft. Tape measure has 1/16 of an inch all the way across the tape. It's pretty simple. Yeah. It sounds pretty simple until you know, have somebody that can't tie their shoes without worrying about whether or not they're a chair today, like like Josh said there. I love this tape measure, man. This is probably one of my favorites. I like the Crescent Night Eye, but I really like the DeWalt. I like that the magnet comes off. And if we get more than 10 feet of standout, we're done. So there's 10 right there. Even give it a couple of bounces. That's all you need right there. And then it's got the magnet, so you can hook it on the conduit and pull. And it's a decent magnet too. Like, now you got a plumb bob. Hang on. Here we go. Now you got a plumb bob. So if you're working in the if you're working in the ditch, and then you're down like in the hole and you're trying to stub up 4 inches or something, you can drop a piece of pipe across and kind of figure out where you're going to wind up, you know. The magnetic tape measures, they're not a gimmick. You think, who the hell needs a magnet on their tape measure? They can be irritating when you're cutting stuff because they just get shit all over the tip, but I like this one comes off. But yeah, if you're doing underground, there's a couple of tools you got to have if you're doing underground as an electrician. You got to have an actual plumb bob, right? You got to have at least a 3-pound one-hand hammer. You gotta have some mason line. You gotta have a razor knife. You gotta have a pair of clines. Gotta have some Sharpies. And you gotta have a shovel. And maybe a 10-in-1, but usually not really. Nobody knows what a plumb bob is. That might be true. Hey, if you got mason line, dude, anything's a plumb bob in construction. Sharpies are found on the job site, yeah. But these aren't on the tool list. Yeah, I know. I picked this up, man. I've been wanting to try this out. Let's try this thing out. Where is a knife? This is about as China made as we can get. But you laugh, man. This thing here is actually really useful. I want to see what the weight is and how it retracts. The red one from Home Depot, you get one of these with a little red pencil at Home Depot. And honestly, it's like the best thing ever. So we got one for the pencil, one for the Sharpie. I might have to go find a pencil, actually. Because ever since I switched to these high booms, and I've never needed another pencil in my shop again. And these were cheap. So then recently Klein came out with theirs, so of course I had to buy it. If I know where it is. It's here on the table somewhere. I don't even know where the Klein pencil is, actually. Got the high booms. Interesting. We have exceeded our stuff. Our ratio of stuff to space. I don't know where the Klein pencil. It might. Oh, you know what? It might be outside. I was doing some projects in the garage. It's probably in the garage. That's okay. But yeah, they've got the different colors too at Lowe's. What is the yellow device multimeter? Okay, so we've got the fluke here, and then we've got the field piece. Similar to a UEI as far as like popularity. And then I've got an ideal in the mod box. What's up, vegan? You dig wherever the excavator lands. That makes sense. I used to use them as a window breaker when I was doing things in my younger days. Guys, stop at those things on the corner. Hearts and Party? I don't know. The Chingadera, yeah. Thingamabob, Chingadera. Everyone called everything a plumb bob. Yeah, that's true, man. That's what we called everything at that one show you were doing. Plumb bob is on your tool list. You're like, but why? You gotta have a plumb bob, man. What's up, bad boy? What's going on? Uh-oh, my kids are here. I think the wife is here, and she brought home Five Guys, which sounds hilarious, but it's the restaurant. She brought home hamburgers from Five Guys. Hopefully she didn't actually bring back Five Guys. All right, well, we gotta get a Sharpie. Ooh, wait. Oh, okay. Is there a lanyard hole already? There's a lanyard hole already. What the fuck? What the fuck is this for? I don't know what this one's for. Because the small one's for a pencil. So this already has the lanyard hole. We might need to read the instructions on this piece of rubber. Retractable marker holder with interchangeable boots designed for scribes. Ultra fine paint chisel. Okay, so this one's for the chisel.
Are those okay?
Yeah, those are great, thanks.
Are you getting off soon, or you want me to get a shower?
Oh,
first?
I'm getting off. I'm playing with my tools.
I know it's your triple X stuff.
You're crazy.
What I'm allowed to say.
Whatever you want. Yes.
Should I go get a shower?
Yeah. Okay. Send me a video.
Did you just snort like a little pig? Because you're so cute.
All right, cool. She's going to send me a video so I don't miss anything while she's getting a shower.
I have something to tell you.
What do you have to tell me?
This morning, Coco did her crazy run around in a circle thing,
Yeah.
and then she went up to Copper and sniffed his nose, and would jump away, and then come back and sniff his nose,
Yeah.
and then jump away, and come back and sniff his nose, and he started playing with her.
Oh, that's good. He didn't eat her.
She peed.
And then she peed. Okay. Well, that checks out.
But his tail was wagging the whole time. He was so excited that she wanted to play with him. And then it freaked her out.
Nice.
Are you live?
Yep.
Oh.
We are live.
Well, that's the story
She's very loud.
of the morning.
Thanks.
Evening.
Okay, so we got the Mosquito here. Oh, look at that. We got some bit storage here. Ooh, that feels very light. This thing is like, it's almost non-existingly light. I don't think you understand how light this bit is. It feels like freaking plastic, dude. This thing is so light, it's not even going to show up on a scale. I think there's more plastic in this than there is metal. These also feel really light. It's convenient though. It might snap off, it will snap off. You know, there's not very much retention on there either. It got better. Oh wait, why does it bounce back out? Look. Look, see that right there? See that reveal? Watch. It's not a wobble. Is it a wobble? No, it's not a wobble. It's a freaking square. Why is it? Look at that. That is not good, guys. That's not good, man. There's nothing round about this. It doesn't even snap on there. Watch. I'm just going to flick it. It's a lot of play. Let's try another socket. Screw number 10. This is the one we're going to lose. Oh, yeah. Look, it just pops right the fuck off. Get on there. It fights, man. What the F? It doesn't even go on there. Hang on. Dog shit, man. Can you believe that? I know Tools with Souls can believe that, but my camera's actually pissing me off today. It is very, very slow. What do you think? Oh, hang on. This might be user error. Let's line up this dot with this dot. No, it's just stupid. Look at this. That's crazy, man. Okay, let's find out. Is it the Makita socket or is it the stupid shaft? It's the dog shit shaft. So let's get a real shaft here with the wobble, no problem, right? And then it has the wobble. Seems like everything's just bouncing off tonight. It's the sockets too, man. They don't even fucking go on. What the fuck? Why? That fits a little bit better. Man, I'm going to say don't buy this set. I can't even get it to stay on there. What a piece of crap. Oh, that one fits. That one actually fits. 12. Yep, the 12 fits. So it's a combination of this piece of crap with poor quality. Yeah, I know. You told me. I know. Man, I just wanted something to be convenient, to have this little, damn. Look, I mounted a lot of TVs, and they always give you some stupid 10 or 8 millimeter hex fastener to screw in for your lag. When will these electricians learn? Yeah, man, I can't believe how bad that is. That's terrible. That is actually terrible. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Look, at least I've got this little ratchet here to cheer me up. I've never seen my camera freak out so much on a stream. You have the Cobalt mini sockets that are better than those. I will say the rubber holder is good on the Makita. Yeah. The Flex Head Capri. Hell, the gear wrench is better. Yeah. Yep. All right, let's see what we got in the garage. The garage door is open right now. All right, so we got the Bora up and figured out. What a pain. But the blue toolbox here will fit. Are we supposed to have more weather?
For me, I have no idea. I don't think so.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything.
It can't be cleaned. Is this some sort of joke? Yeah. Yeah, so we are going to put 2x4s horizontally or metal studs all the way to this air conditioner. We actually need to trim this out too. So we're going to do some kind of troubleshooting thing here eventually. Maybe a tornado watch wouldn't surprise me. And then this will be the other side of what you see. So behind me we'll have 2x4s and electrical. And then over here we'll have the troubleshooting. So, and then we'll have a toolbox there. Don't use metal, use wood studs. I kind of want to energize the metal for fun so we can put a multimeter on it. Check voltage to the studs. Where's the room? Go back to the casting couch. Yeah. We got the casting chair. I'm waiting for my wife to get out of the shower. We can eat. Makita tools are stored. Perfect. So I am curious now. You guys can't see it because it's attached to the phone, but I've got this DJI mic now, right? The audio is obviously better. I'm going to turn the volume down to -6. And you're going to let me know what it sounds like. And then I'm going to try to put this thing in my hat. And then I want to know what it sounds like. So I've got to switch to -6 now. So I'm curious Was I overdriving the mic before, or does it sound better now? And do you hear less background noise? It's the same. Let me switch it to -12. So with all the rain, get a portable dehumidifier for the garage mold. Not a bad idea. Give the number, you have it somewhere. Which one? All right, so audio -12 now. Background got lower. Nice. What about my voice? Is it better? Less background noise, less kind of the burner phone. Dude, the burner phone, I got really sick, and I don't even know if I paid the bill on the damn burner phone. The advice line. Somebody need to call. So many insulated screwdrivers, that's about half of them. The best ones, though, are behind me. We got the Weehaw, the Knipex, and the Vessel. And it's a tight race between the Vessel and the Knipex. Yeah, this one. And the Weehaw. Because the Knipex has the nice parallel tips there. So they fit on screws and they don't fall off. But then you've got a very parallel flat, like extremely parallel for the Vessel. Then you got a thicker, nice parallel tip for the Knipex here. The handle gets kind of narrow. Doesn't really stay completely consistent, which is my main gripe with some of these screwdrivers. But then as far as consistency goes, if you get the Weehaw, all the handles are fairly consistently sized for all the useful sizes that Weehaw does. So all these handles are all the same size right here. And we've got the number 2 Phillips. We've got a large flat. We've got that's a number 2, yeah, number 2 square, parallel as well. Longer too for deeper into breakers. So like the larger 3-phase breakers are usually really, really deep, especially on eye-line panels. So that's nice for the square. Then you got your kind of 3/16 flat here. You can see this one gets a lot of use. And then you've got a number 2 Phillips. Hang on. That was not a Phillips. That's that ECX driver with the flat and the square built in. So my money is on the Knipex just for the consistency. But if you want a damn good feeling screwdriver that is really nice, it's going to be these Vessels. And then all around, you can't really go wrong with the Knipex, but the handles kind of change the size. So it just depends on what you're into. But yeah, the Weehaws are really, really nice. If you're in construction or you're doing, service calls, things like that, this is really the only screwdriver you need. If you're in construction and you're doing installs professionally, you need to get something with, just a straight shaft without all this BS on it and with a little bit more length. You want to go with a Weehaw. So there's your 1,000-volt screwdriver rundown very quickly. How much is the set? So the Weehaw set's like $30, right? And you get 50. 30 is going to get you 5 of these. 50 is going to get you all the useful sizes, right? And then for an additional $10 per specialty driver, like the ECX2 here, you're looking at another $10 or $13. So you can get a whole set of very professional grade. This is what we use in industrial. Tried and true, hard to beat. Not the best, but damn good for the value. Top tier, S tier screwdrivers. Very good value. Very findable. And less BS with handle size changing. This is what I would recommend most people to get. There's a backup now. You can even say they stole the truck. Tactics, do they make a torque screwdriver? Hang on a second. There's a button here for a clip button. Is this it? Highlight save to your channel. The last 5 minutes of your stream. I found it. If Souls is still here, on the right hand side of your screen, you've got a flip camera button. You got a mute microphone. You've got a record. What does this button do? I don't know what that button did. We've got a retouch button, which I'm not using filters ever on my channel. If you see me using filters, I've gone full Makita. Then we got a clip button, and then I've got the remove background button. So I can do... Ha! Ha! That's kind of cool. Oh, there you go. Nice. Oh, you can't see the snowman. Look at Kaylin's snowman. Self-destruct button, yeah. Yeah, that one button, it did something about the live feed or something. I don't know what it did. It's like a video mute, yeah. Video mute. I just realized something with these. They've got a little... Hang on, I gotta know now. This is actually kind of cool. Unless I just broke it. Yeah, okay, so we got the tape off the bottom. And then this slides up. Okay, that is actually really cool. A lot of times when you buy lead for these pencils, it's not this convenient. It's usually in a stupid tube, and it's like crazy. This isn't really gonna break. It's got some pretty good protection for it. And then I like how this kind of snaps shut. And then this slides up. That's actually really nice. That's pretty cool. No one else is doing that. Has to buy lead for his pencil. Your 10-piece pliers and screwdriver tool set 1000 volt from Knipex was over $200. Yeah, that's about right, man. Your clients are, I mean, not your clients, but your linesmen, whatever, are typically about $50 each. So that's pretty normal. Yeah. Yeah, 200, that's not too bad. I bet you they're more now. Are they gluten-free? Are the question, are they gluten-free? That's a good question, huh? Are the Knipex gluten-free? Or the lead in the pencil. We were talking about this earlier, and then Angela came in and completely distracted me. So we've got the Klein tools on here. We don't actually have a pencil grabber. We had the marker grabber. The length is 4 feet, I think. That's 4 feet. So it's longer than the one at Home Depot. Clip seems a little bit more aggressive on the up. Seems pretty good though. The one from Home Depot is just a little square. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of their part number on the front of it. Or like all this. They could have, I don't know. It's got a nice, this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt. Yeah, it hurts. It's got a good retraction. Ow! Hurt. Yeah, it's pretty good. See if I can break it right now. And my fingers. Actually, hang on. I'm not opening this thing up to 4 feet. I think I'm crazy. It's still going to get me. There we go. There we go. Ow! Shit hurts. It's got a good spring in there. Yeah, I took a chunk out of my freaking finger right there. Just now. Got a boo-boo right there. Question is, have we taken the time to ask the pencil what it would... Yeah. Yeah, that's why. See, that's why you can pick the color. Now, it did discriminate because there's no blue or green in here. Or purple or pink. But at least we got these. So it can decide whenever it wants to. So... I don't know what I'm going to do. I think the next video we're going to do is probably going to be what do electrical inspectors look for during a service inspection. And I'm probably going to use clips from some inspections that I've done previously that are already up on the channel. And then we're just going to go step by step on the order of operation that I look for whenever I walk up on site and I'm looking at a meter release inspection for a building. And I think I'm going to do something big, at least 800 amps. Yeah. What's up, Lieutenant Colombo? What's going on? It's pronouns. That's awesome. Yeah, you got to stock up. You got to stock up so they don't run out. Exactly. So we'll probably do everything. We're going to do the available fault current. We'll figure out what the length from the service transformer is to the tap can. We'll talk about whether or not you bond in the tap can. And then there's a misconception on where to bond. Today I had a contractor send me a picture and it was missing the bonding bushing. And it was installed on the feeder nipple. And I was like, you know, where's your bonding bushing? He was like, man, all these inspectors, they never explain where they want this thing. So I still think there's a huge confusion in the field on where you're supposed to put the bonding bushing. Bond around the table of the fire pit. Must have bonding. It's the services are 250 volts to ground. So one of the biggest misconceptions out there is that if you run pipe out of a tap can, which doesn't have overcurrent protection, so typically come out of the transformer, and then you'll go to a tap can, and then you'll go from there to some kind of gutter, or maybe straight to a meter. And then out of your meter, you're going to go to your first disconnect. And everything along that point, if it's metal, all the way until your first fuse or breaker, you're going to bond if it's metal. The Fleming Powell Cobalt tool check garbage bits and sockets in a cheap housing. Your first thought was janky. Do you ever see pink face tape? No. Well, actually, yes. Yes. So what the code book says is you have to identify your voltage, phase, system, line, everything on the premise. Black, red, blue is typically for low voltage, and white for the neutral. Then you've got brown, orange, yellow for your high voltage, and gray for the neutral. Green is always going to be ground. Green with yellow can also be ground. That's always typically ground. When you have DC on your roof or vehicle chargers or something like that on a building where you have 120 volt and 480 volt, you need to identify your DC conductors. The code book says to use black and red. Black and red's already taken on the low voltage. So when Tesla did their superchargers, I made them do pink and purple because all the other colors were taken. So if you were to put black and red in a pipe, in a junction box, whatever you're doing. Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
It's not really identified. The Makita socket rails are the best, dude, but the Makita sockets, WTF, these things are garbage. I wouldn't even, put this on the weakest drill. Because they act like they just want to keep popping in and out. Makes me nervous about this thing being like half on there. Maybe they'll break in, but brand new, man, they was not a good fit. What's up, LFL? Had those on a DeWalt mid-torque. No issues. All right. Your 5 guys getting cold. The wife's about to be out of the shower, so. Let's see here. Got a new GFCI and installed in the bathroom and still doesn't work. Still showing no power after the switch back on. So GFCIs have a line and a load side. Hang on. Let me get all this garbage out of the way. If you get a multimeter, you'd be able to check your voltage. Go hot to ground, look for 120. Go hot to neutral, look for 120. There you go. Oh, you know what? This ground actually, I wrapped this ground, so we're actually going to cut it off because I don't want to disconnect it. This GFCI is special. Okay. Back of the GFCI. We've got line on this side. We've got load on this side. If you hooked your wires up on the load side of your GFCI, it is not going to work. The load is for protecting other receptacles downstream. The line is where your constant hot goes. So check that. Also, really important, make sure, typically in your bathroom, newer houses, you're going to have one GFCI that protects everything else downstream. If you hook your other receptacles to the line side, you're not going to protect anything else downstream. So that could be a problem. Let me show you. Ow, I just kicked something. If this is your GFCI, oh, we'll call that your panel. That's your breaker. This is your GFCI here. Half of this. Oh my God, I'm messing this up. There we go. Half of this GFCI has a line side here. Line.
Setting up a picnic in our room.
Line is here. Load is on this side. If you're trying to protect other plugs downstream and you hook your load side up to your line side over here, you're going to send power to these plugs, but they're not going to have adequate protection. So make sure that you disconnect everything out of the wall. You pull your wires out. You figure out which wires are your constant hot, which would be, you're going to get 120 to it when you turn the breaker on. And then the wires that don't have any power are going to be the load side, because you want to continue to protect the plugs downstream. You don't want to replace a GFCI and tie all of your wires to one side if you got multiple wires in there, because you just don't know where they're going to. So the best practice is to really know what you're doing when you're replacing GFCIs that have multiple wires going to them. But the biggest reason probably why your GFCI doesn't work is because you hooked it up on the load side instead of the line side. See here. A whiteboard. We're in Sananas that have the GFCI on the upstairs bathroom and chained it to downstairs, so you have to go upstairs and reset it. That's my life, dude. That's all I've been inspecting. But they got the GFCI downstairs. So what you want to do, if you're an inspector and you're testing all these plugs, I don't have a plug tester in here. Here it is. It's terrible. What you want to do, you want to go to every receptacle and plug this sucker in and verify that there's voltage. And then you want to trip the first GFCI and then find out what's off. Because once you've already verified that there's voltage present everywhere else, if you trip one GFCI and everything else turns off, obviously it's got GFCI protection. So the last thing you want to do is test one and then go reset the GFCI and then test another one and then go reset the GFCI and test the other one. So whenever I do a kitchen, I walk up on a kitchen and I will try to plug this thing into every receptacle that I can find. And then I will trip one GFCI and then I'll go around the whole kitchen to see what turned off. And then hopefully I still have one more circuit on and I'll plug it into the countertop and then I'll trip that GFCI and then I'll go make sure that all the countertops are off. And then I'm looking for dishwasher and disposal circuit to be separate. I'm looking for the lights to be separate. I'm looking for the microwave circuit to be separate. The last thing I want to do is be bouncing back and forth in between the garage and the kitchen all day. The answer is just 2 GFCIs and run it on the line, but also had to replace the breaker since 14 gauge and they had 20 amp in there. Yeah, that'll do it. They do make an AFCI plug tester. A lot of people, you're going to see them on their channel, they're going to say, oh, you need to get this. The way that the manufacturer intends you to test AFCI and GFCI is on this push button. When you test AFCI on a plug tester, they actually heat up quite a bit. So if you're doing multiple of them, your device is going to get pretty warm and they are junk. So test your AFCI on breakers. Test your GFCI when your plug is not readily accessible on the breakers. And test your GFCI with the plug tester. Client has one for 40 bucks. It gets pretty warm. Yo, what's up, Arky? Dang, dude. You just joined, man. We got to go. I got to go eat Five Guys, which sounds really interesting, but if you're a Makita guy, eating Five Guys is just every day. Maybe I'll come back. Maybe I'll call you, Arky. Cajun fries, exactly. Ew. Yeah, I know. Sounds normal. Yeah. Harbor Freight has one. Those fries are worth it. It's expensive, but it's good. All right. I do got to get. Good to see you. Hit me up. You're doing crazy work in SD. SD. San Diego. I don't know. That was actually hilarious. I appreciate it, man. I got to get, guys. Maybe I'll go live later. Maybe I won't. I don't know. There's a freaking mosquito in here. All right. We're out of here. He's looking at me. Got to get him. All right, we're out of here. See you. Oh, South Dakota. Nice. All right. Yeah, got to get. We'll see you.